skilled and work visa updates. The December 2023 round of invitations has been a disappointment to many. The invitations were only given out to health professionals and teachers. Congratulations to those that got invited. Looking back at 2023, there were only 2 invitation rounds for the 189 and family-sponsored 491, and all focused on health professions and teachers. This means that many of those with skills assessments and English done did not receive an invitation for the 189. This seems quite unreasonable and seems to be putting unnecessary pressure on those aspiring to come to Australia and not giving them an opportunity to get an invitation. State nominations for the 190 and 491. The states and territories have the advantage of nominating a wider range of occupations. Each state has slightly different criteria based on the needs of their economy. Unfortunately, the Northern Territory has run out of nomination allocations already and is closed to new state allocations for the moment. With there being limited opportunity in relation to points-based visas, a natural reaction has been for some potential migrants to look at alternative paths to go forward. This has led to an increased interest in employer-sponsored applications. With the points-based 189, 190 and 491 offering so little opportunity, we are seeing a rise in interest from applicants in employer sponsorship. We are receiving many inquiries about the TSS 482 visa and the Permanent Residency 186 visa. There is also strong interest in the new Skills in Demand visa to be introduced from late 2024. We've made a separate video about the Skills in Demand visa if you're interested in finding out more about that visa. Labour market testing for 482. There's been a reduction in the requirements for labour market testing for the 482. Now you only need 2 types of advertisements, and the need for Workforce Australia advertising has been removed. There is a minimum length of 28 days, and that's consecutive days in the 4 months prior to lodging a nomination. These changes apply to all advertising after the 11th of December 2023. There's been positive news in relation to regional employer-sponsored visas. Regional employer-sponsored nominations now receive the number 1 priority for processing. In Ministerial Direction number 105, regional visas have been given the highest priority. This shows that the federal government is now encouraging visas for regional areas. Another change in priority processing is that offshore applicants are no longer getting priority, and this will be a disappointment for many. So why has this happened? The change may have more to do with housing shortages in the big cities and the government wanting to reduce pressure on housing. That would explain both encouraging regional visas, which will have people moving to regional areas, and removing priority for those that are offshore that might come to Australia and usually live in the big cities. There's an update in relation to the requirements for working holiday makers. Working holiday makers can, in some circumstances, now work beyond the 6-month limitation. The announcement is that from the 1st of January 2024 and until further government decisions, people can now work for the same employer in Australia for more than 6 months without asking for permission in the following circumstances. If the work is in different locations and work in any one location does not exceed 6 months. If the work is in plant and animal cultivation anywhere in Australia. In certain industries, including aged care and disability, fishing, pearling, tree farming and felling, construction and mining in Northern Australia. Natural disaster recovery is also another approved activity, as is aged care and healthcare. Childcare anywhere in Australia. Also work in the critical sector of tourism and hospitality anywhere in Australia. So there's a number of exceptions to the 6-month limitation. For any other situations that are not covered, you must ask for permission to work more than 6 months with the one employer. So to give you some examples of how this might work, if you've got a job in finance and you're looking at working beyond the 6 months and you're on a work and holiday visa and you're working in a city, then that doesn't fall within one of those exceptions that was listed, and so you'd have to ask for extra permission. But if you are working in an industry that was covered, such as tree felling or disaster recovery, then you can go beyond the 6 months. In terms of asking to go beyond the 6 month, in that finance example, often they're not going to give you permission to go beyond that 6 months. The main circumstance that you would get that permission is if you had an employer-sponsored application already lodged for that position. So that's the latest news that we've got about skilled and work visas. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest, then subscribe. Thanks for watching.